I'm working on a John Deere x300 lawnmower with a 25 horsepower Kawasaki engine. The engine will start and run with the choke on, but once you let the choke go, it will run for a few seconds and then die. If you choke it again before it dies, it will continue to run. I have replaced the carburetor because it was full of bad gas.
Hello and welcome to Just Answer. My name is I have been a technician with John Deere dealerships for 18 years and hopefully I can offer you some assistance. So when you let off the choke your engine dies, is that correct?
After about 2 seconds of running.
Will you be able to do a few diagnostic steps if I guide you through them? Okay, first I would like to remove the fuel line from the front of the fuel pump and crank the engine to see if the fuel pump is working.
We did that and it is pumping fuel.
Okay. Crank the mower and with a pair of pliers, remove one spark plug at a time and see if the engine dies.
The engine did not die, as long as we kept it on choke.
I think we will need to remove the carburetor and blow out the jets. You have a fuel restriction. We will also need to check the solenoid on the bottom of the carburetor to make sure that the plunger pulls in when you turn the key.
Okay. I'll pull the carburetor off in the morning.
Sounds good. Keep me updated.
We got the carburetor off and the plunger does pull in when the key is on.
Okay. Did fuel pour out of the carburetor when you removed the solenoid?
We drained the bowl from the drain screw and then removed the bowl from the carburetor and observed the plunger that way. There was gas in the bowl.
Okay. Now we need to get a small pin or paper clip and stick up through the center jet and then blow air through it. This will be the jet right up through the middle that the solenoid screws into.
We did find trash in the jets of the carburetor. Had to pull it 3 times to get all the trash cleaned out. Now it will start and run but will die sometimes when you engage the blades. If it doesn't die when you engage the blades, you can mow for a couple minutes, and it will start surging and then eventually die.
Sounds like you still have a fuel restriction. It could be something in the file line from the tank to the filter. I would recommend removing the fuel line from the fuel filter and blow air back into the tank to see if the lines are clear. Could also still be a bad fuel pump or still some trash in the jets.
We ran clear hose from fuel pump to a gas jug and still stalling. Cleaned original carb and installed it and was able to mow for about 30 minutes before it started acting up. Is there something in the fuel pump that would cause it to stop pumping when it warms up?
No. It's a mechanical pump that works off of the engine vacuum. The fuel pump either works or it doesn't. There is no in between. Do you have a spark tester?
I checked for spark with a screwdriver and it is getting spark.
Even immediately after it dies?
It wasn't wanting to start at all before we swapped carbs out and I checked for spark and it was good. It whooped and start because the electric fuel pump was flooding it.
X300 has a mechanical fuel pump, not electrical. When it starts to die, can you tell if there is fuel still pulling through the fuel filter?
We installed an electric one to see if maybe the fuel pump wasn't pumping enough fuel.
Okay. I see now. When it dies, will it immediately crank back or do you have to let it cool?
It will start back up, but sometimes it will die after a couple of seconds and sometimes it will stay running.
Might need to check for vapor lock. As it starts to die, loosen the fuel cap really quick and see if it smooths out.
Loosening the cap didn't help. If you kick the blades out when it starts to die, it will stay running, but it surges.
Definitely still sounds like a fuel delivery issue then. Have you tried a new fuel pump? Regular style, not electric? Is the carburetor new that you installed?
Have not tried an OEM fuel pump. Yes, the carb was brand new, but we have the original one back on it now after we cleaned it.
I think the next step should be to try a new fuel pump. It's possible that it could have tiny pinhole in it that won't let the diaphragm work properly.
Okay. I'll see if I can find one locally.
You can find them at Lowe's, Home Depot, Tractor Supply, or any lawnmower dealership.
Looks like the fuel pump solved the problem. Put it on this morning and mowed for about 40 minutes, then let the mower sit for an hour, then mowed for 30 minutes with no problems. Thanks for the help.
Great news. Glad you are running.
If you have a home improvement or appliance question and want to chat with an expert now, visit JustAnswer.com/YTHI.